2 months ago, Saigon Toastmaster Club held a marathon meeting speech, and it was so exciting. The day after that, when I came home, and I wonder why that meeting surprised me a lot. So later I discovered that the things that I remember the most is Mr. Hible's speech, which was about a wonderful life. Here, it describes the modern technology and the beauty of nature. The time that he dived deep into the sea to talk to giant blue whales. And after that, in the break time, I couldn't wait to approach him and ask him that how much time do you prepare for that, and how do you do that? The question surprised me. He said that because of some problems about a room for a meeting that day, he couldn't prepare for the speech at all. So this means he just have 1 to 2 hours to prepare for the speech, and he could make a speech very successfully. So is that correct? Is that It's just true that he just practiced for a few hours, and then he could give a successful speech on that day. Ladies and gentlemen, actually he practiced it in 10,000 hours. He has spent 10,000 hours to practice. Malcolm Gladwell, he did a research about this, and later on he found out that if you want to be a genius in any field, you will have to spend 10,000 hours in practicing. He researched two groups who play violins, and they all of them play the violin since they were 5 and spend 3 hours a week to practice. However, there's a difference when they turn 8. The first team, they just remain the same hours of practice, while the other team, they increase the hours of practice to 16 hours per week. And when they turn to 15, Gladwell came back and found out that the average player, they are in the group 1, and the good player, they are in the group 2. He also did some other research on many fields, and he finally decided that every person, even somebody like Steve Jobs or Mozart, they will have to achieve the amount of 10,000 hours to be a genius, to be an expert. So my point is that if you haven't reached 10,000 hours of practicing, you cannot be an expert in any field. Let me give you 3 examples to prove my point. Last year, when I was prepared for my university entrance exam, and I practiced a lot. I practiced day by days, week by weeks, and months by months. And I realized that the more I practice, the easier it becomes. The difficulty to me is not the problem at that time. And whenever I saw a math problem, I immediately know how to solve it. But at that time too, my friend said that I was right, but I can see that it was a long period of training to get into that level. Bruce Lee once said, "I fear not the man who practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who practice one kick 10,000 times. Let's take a look to some genius, some famous genius, as we know. Warren Buffett, who earned $65 billion. He can read an economic chart in 5 minutes, and then he decide the best decision, while the other person has to make research for ages in the same topic. So the secret to his success is that when he was 8, he practiced 3 to 5 hours a day in studying the economic chart, while other kids plays with their cars or Barbies. And another reason is that Tiger Woods, he has been practicing since he was 3 by his father. He practiced 3 to 5 hours a day to play golf. All of his life is just golf, and not until 18 years later he became the world championship after a long period of training. So my point is that if you want to be good at something, go ahead and practice it in 10,000 hours. And if you want to be an expert in any field such as IT or finance or even public speaking, you will have to practice. If you want to be good at if you want to be a great speaker, you will have to practice it. There's no point sitting there and trying to do nothing and then dream up a day that you will become a talented speaker. It's a real thing. And the dream is there for you to see, but you have to work 10,000 hours. Finally, remember this. Remember this. Practice is the key, and definitely 10,000 hours. Thank you.